Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host Zulf. Nice to meet you. Today we're going to look at a common question. If your camera is overheating while you're live streaming, why is that? Excellent question. Let's have a look. So I like to live stream. I've done live streams for up to 2 or 3 hours using different types of camera setups, even using multiple cameras. So I'm in a good place to be able to let you know how my workflow works, what happens, have I had any overheating issues. I'll explain why I haven't. It's a bit weird. It can be quite weird. I've used a Canon 550D for a long time with a dummy power battery, and that's never overheated with me. Sometimes I've recorded all day. I've made videos all day and it's been powered on and I've not had any overheating issues. So why is that? And why are people struggling with this? Well, I had a few emails. I've had a few questions about overheating issues. This will be all reliant. It's very important to keep this in mind. It's going to be reliant on your location, where you are. Is it a humid, hot environment? Because maybe that's why you're having issues. I'm in the UK. We're lucky if we get a sunny day in summer here, so I'm not that hot, and it doesn't get that hot here. Probably highest temperature I've had in this setup studio is probably about 25 degrees, if whatever that Fahrenheit is, about 52, 55 Fahrenheit. My maths is terrible, so let me know. So I've used that camera for live streaming via USB while plugged in a dummy battery. So that's number one, and it's worked fine for me. I can say easily 3 hours it will live stream at. I've also got a Canon 250 SL camera, which is I've got a box there I was going to show you, but it's no point. So yeah, I've got the SL2 camera, which is known as a 250D, small compact camera. I use that powered via a dummy battery, so it plugs into the mains. I've streamed on that by 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I've streamed on that. I've not had any issues yet. I haven't gone longer than that. I will probably test it for longer than that. Actually, technically speaking, I've been going for 2 hours now. I've made 3 videos in a row and that camera's been powered on. I've got lights set up here which create a bit of heat. I've got a computer. I've got a cooling fan. The fan's not on because obviously it'll mess with my audio. So I'm kind of giving you a bit of an information video here to help you if you're having issues. What should you do? The first thing to think about is check your temperature where you are, and then feel your camera to see if it feels hot. Where is the camera positioned? Is there good circulation? In addition to that, what are you using? Are you using a dummy battery on the camera? A dummy battery means you put a battery and it has a cable and it goes into the mains. Are you working off power? What setting are you streaming at? And also the lenses that you're using. Also the camera, because I've had someone say they've had a 250D and the camera's overheating. That's a bit weird because I've live streamed on my camera. I've never had an overheating issue. So that's very interesting to see that. So that's something to keep in mind. In addition to that, if you are having overheating issues, look at how you can make the camera work for you in that environment. So maybe if it's happening regularly, have 2 cameras set up and then have a USB hub where your camera is plugged into. And if you're thinking you're going to stream for 2 hours, set up 2 cameras, have 1 and 2. For example, I've got a top down and another one. I could probably show you another view here. Let me show you another view, just to give you an idea of what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to switch to another camera here just to show you what I mean. So I've set up another camera on top of my monitor. Now think about this. If you're live streaming, that's not the best angle. I could do it better. It's one of those OBS bot cams that kind of follow you around the room. Sometimes it listens to me, sometimes it doesn't. So let's see if he listens to me today. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's zoomed in a little bit. You'll see it's like an automatic robot kind of camera. So what I would probably do is set up 1 camera and then be aware of my timings. On OBS in the bottom, it tells you how long you've been going for. I would say go live and then have, like, if you know it's going to overheat after an hour and a half, go up to an hour and 10 minutes and use that camera. And then you can say, okay, so we look at the second part of the show, and you can swap over to the next camera and then have that go. I've still got that zoomed in. That was not well prepared. Let me see if I can zoom in out. Oh, come on. That's one thing about these robot cameras. They don't always listen to you. Oh, here we go. Come on, you can do it. No, he's not going to do it. So I think that's important to have a few options to look between. You could easily go between 1 camera and then flip over to a secondary camera and have it as your setup on your live stream. So once that's set up, it will allow you, if this camera ever listens to me. Yeah, see, it gets confused. The camera is like a AI camera. No, he's not having it. There we go. See, finally, after half a bloody day. But yeah, so cameras wise, I would say if you're having overheating issues, look at this option, have a live streaming camera. Think about the camera being set up and think about when you're experiencing overheating issues. Because after an hour and a half, have that on a USB device and then use your live stream to use that as your main camera to start off with. That's going to be like the core audience, and it's going to be the hardcore fans that are going to stick around for the full live stream, which means you can easily say, okay, we'll have a look at my screen and then move over to the second camera. I would turn the first camera off via USB power, let it cool down, and then carry on this one for about half an hour, and then we could easily put the USB back on and then go back to that camera, giving it a chance to cool down. So with this, if you've got a strict budget and you want to stick with what you've got, you'd have to do workarounds. Is basically that's what it boils down to. If you get professional gear and you get cameras that don't overheat, or the cameras I know I've not had overheating issues with, I've not had overheating issues with a 550D or a 250D or a 5D Mark II, but other people have. So it's depending on where you are. We're not all in the same situation, in the same environment, so it can be heat related to where you live. If you're lucky enough to live in a hot environment, there are going to be pros and cons of that. So get AC maybe in your location, keep everything cooled down. But that kind of helps you explain what I'm talking about in terms of overheating. What I will do is I'll link you to another video here about alternatives, because you can use a camcorder. Camcorders have been powered for ages in my live streams. I've never had any issues with them. I'll see you on the next video.